Hi everyone. I wanted to talk about the effects of fear in our bodies because it definitely feels like there's so much fear going on in the world at the moment. And even though in most places things are starting to calm down, there's now this extra fear coming out about potentially what our governments might be doing long term, about our freedom and what it really means long term, whether or not there will be some things that never change back to our new old way of life because we have a new normal. Like, are these things now going to be changed for the worse long term? Never being able to hug, never being able to shake hands, never being able to have large gatherings again. I just wonder where it's all going. And for me, I can feel that I feel uncomfortable with the concept that there may not be a return to the old, 6 months ago. So what I wanted to think about is what happens in your body when there is fear. So when we go into a survival patterns, our body go into fight, flight, or freeze. Now, energetically, structurally in your body, if you are in fight, that's sort of 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, this. So it twists your pelvis, it brings your shoulders forward, and we're ready to go. So therefore, it can create structural problems with your hips, your lower back, your shoulders. Your neck can be forward to what it should be. So therefore, we can have neck pain, shoulder pain, upper back pain between here and here, the rhomboids. So the rhomboids are about rage and anger and frustration. The neck muscles are about an imbalance with sympathy and empathy and not understanding. And our hips very much are in a twist when we want to either run away or stand and fight. It's sort of giving us that energy. So it can be pulling our bicipital tendons out of position and throw those hips, which can throw the ankles and knees and legs out as well. From the flight perspective, that's running away, that's the opposite. So opposite shoulder, opposite hip, either way, depending on whether we're left or right side. So when you see me doing kinesiology and I'm turning the feet into the center, I'm basically seeing whether one side with the feet is higher than the other. And if one side is higher, that usually means that side is locked into a gate. Now, obviously, some people have operations and things. That's a whole different thing. But what I'm talking about is a structural imbalance with fight flight. Now, freeze can be a bit more challenging to find. I find that more through the amygdala points that I use through my sessions. So the amygdala points, when we are under stress, our brain has got 1/500th of a second to respond to rage, anger. And if we don't respond logically and creatively, our brain whips into the amygdala and says, hey, little amygdala, what pattern do you have? And the 5 main amygdala, these are just acupuncture points that give me energetically the answer to which amygdala pattern that your body is stuck in. So whether or not it's switching off the pleasure reward centers, which it's doing deliberately, it doesn't want you to relax and have fun because it doesn't want you to miss the fact that this pleasure reward centers, it doesn't want you to enjoy yourself when you're about to get eaten by a tiger. The second one's fear, threat, danger. The third one's pain and punishment. The fourth one's escape, submission, freeze. And the fifth one is rage, anger, frustration. And all of these can be externalized, which means you see it, people can see it, you can feel it, it's all there, or they can be internalized. So we're not quite recognizing them, or we're not discussing it, or we're not letting out there. So our other humans in our world don't know that we're going through this. That can be a challenge, of course. So that's sort of the amygdala from the brain perspective. It also shuts down the frontal cortex. So the frontal cortex is problem solving. The frontal cortex is the area that comes up with solution-oriented processes. So when it's up and running, we find those solutions to the stress. We sort of don't stress too much about things and everything's pretty good. When it shuts down and we're in the survival patterns, which are in the unconscious part of the brain, in behind the brain stem, then we just can't see a solution. it's not there. So we're sort of going, well, and it's like the brain is fragmented, and we're not feeling in control and safe and in our normal problem solving space. So from a brain perspective, and another thing that can happen with especially long-term stress, and let's face it, this has been five months so far. So especially people who have that high level of anxiety, and especially the germaphobes out there, oh my Lord, I would hate to be in your brains, you poor little darlings, because it's like everything on every surface is out to kill me. I don't think that's the case, but that's just me, and I'm not a germaphobe, but I believe in our own innate immune systems killing things off. So basically, if we're germaphobes, imagine the trauma. Every time you're looking at something, every time you see someone touch something, you're going, oh my God, I won't touch that. I won't touch the table. I won't touch the doorknob. I won't touch so people walk around with their little hand sanitizers in a house on their own and washing their hands 30,000 times a day. It's crazy. But we all know that. And I know germaphobes. I treat germaphobes, and it's a real challenge because it is true in those brains. So that's but what I was going to say was, when the trauma is ongoing and 5 months is ongoing, and once again with what we're hearing that governments are trying to do around the world, this isn't going anywhere. They're going to use this as an opportunity to, who knows, chip, tattoo, the cards with the vaccines. There's lots of things happening around the world with tracking devices and all sorts of stuff. So who knows where it's going to leave us from a freedom perspective and an invasion of privacy perspective, and that's just in the future. We know it's coming, but it's sort of, hopefully governments will calm down. They won't, but I sort of hope they will. So what ends up happening with our bodies is that because our brain is so stressed, it shrinks our hippocampus, makes our memory worse, which means, you see someone down the street, and not only you go, crap, I can't hug them, I can't shake their hand, but what is their name? That's the hippocampus. So the hippocampus shrinks under chronic stress, and because once again, the memory centers aren't important if you're about to get eaten by a tiger. In your body, however, because your body is in fight, flight, freeze, this area isn't regrowing. Your body isn't paying attention to what it's digestion. Your body's not paying attention to your heart. It's not paying attention to your lungs. It's not paying attention to your liver, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen. And it's not because those things aren't important if you're about to get eaten by a tiger. So it can actually switch off the ability for stem cells to heal this part of the body, which is really scary. So our bone marrow can slow down the release of healing with these stem cells, which is quite phenomenal if you think about all the effects it can have. So sometimes with long-term stress, we start developing gut issues, bloating, burping, belching, wind, flatulence, diarrhea, constipation. And you go, I never suffered from this before. Or all of a sudden the heart is pumping all day, every day. If your heart is pumping all day, every day with anxiety, you're only breathing in that upper third of the lungs. You're never breathing full, deep belly breaths. And if you're not doing that, you're not letting out all the carbon dioxide. So you're creating some scar tissue, mucus, congestion in the lower lobes of your lungs. And part of that whole breathing process is gently massaging all your digestive organs all day, every day. So that's not happening. So when you think about the physiology, what's happening in your body, what your brain is being told, what symptoms you're starting to have with chronic stress, pay attention. Is your thyroid starting to slow down? Is your liver not detox? Sorry, I've gone, where's my liver? Is your liver not detoxifying properly? Is your heart overworking? Are you getting exhausted more easily, even though you're not doing as much? These are really big signs, and once again, you need to look after yourself in times of crisis. So pay attention, Feel the love. There's plenty of love out there. Get onto positive websites. Get onto positive places. Don't listen to all the horrible mainstream media crap that's just trying to keep us in fear, keep us in fear, keep us in fear. It is so not worth your life to stay in fear for the next however long this goes on for. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye for now.